How many times have you played Carnegie Hall?
Once.
What does the night look like after Carnegie? Because Carnegie, the Beatles have fucking played there. It's a legendary venue.
Crazy. Yeah, it was just that.
Speaking
was
of drinking,
night.
that seems like a natural segue. Let's talk about the night after.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago, but like, yeah, I had all my good friends. Like, I have a lot of good friends in New York. We just like had a good time and partied, and
let me get some specifics.
And then we went to.
Was there any trim you had your eye on that night?
Well, I mean, I've had not that night. It was just a repeat with someone I knew already, but
a chick you were fucking who lived in New York City.
Yeah, because it was just more. That was more of like a.
Who was she? Did you meet her in college?
No, I met her through stand up over the years.
Nice.
Over Instagram?
Fellow comedian?
Sure.
You met her over Instagram. I doubt she was a fellow comedian. They're not worth
No, she was.
Come on, Leo. After you play Carnegie Hall, you're not fucking some Harry's fellow comedian chick.
Well, after you get good, you don't have to fuck other comics.
Nice, dude.
So I'm curious about that. So
Carnegie Hall was more of like we had a big dinner afterwards. It was more of like you just lived the like it was just a nice night.
Right.
It wasn't like a typical like I'm on the road and like there's chicks hit me up after a show.
Oh yeah, so tell us about
there were chicks hit me up after a show, but it was more like let me enjoy this moment with my friends and shit.
And then
more of that.
Did you feel entitled enough to maybe like go for anal, try to get her to lick your ass after Carnegie?
No, it was just more like I was drunk and wanted to come.
But you did feel like the fuck. Don't tell me you didn't feel like the fucking man after you walked out of that venue.
Nah, because it wasn't my show, man. I was just opening.
Dude.
Gotcha.
Still,
it wasn't my show.
That's a special night.
Me and Danny, we talk about.
It was a special night that I got to be a part of.
Nice.
But I recognize that I might never ever get to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I have aspirations to fucking be a theater act one day, but like nothing's guaranteed. But you know that is the easiest market to sell the most tickets eventually, so it's an attainable goal. But at the end of the day, it's a special night that I recognize that I'll remember and appreciate for the rest of my life. But it wasn't my night, but I was still part of it. Like, I was part of a cool show. That like before I did that, like if you would have asked me a year before that show and someone's like, you know what Carnegie Hall is? I'd be like, no, what do you mean? Like I didn't know until people talked about it, and then I started researching. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then being at the venue hours before and like seeing the history, and then being in the green room and seeing the Beatles and Ray Charles and all this other shit, you're like, wow, this is special. And then learning like this has been here since before the Civil War,
right.
And that you could perform in there without any microphones. It was built so that the whole room could hear you from stage singing or performing.
That's crazy.
So all that cool that shit was cool, and it's a cool highlight. But I always kind of tell myself like, yeah, I was a part of a show, but that wasn't my show. I didn't sell the fucking tickets, but I also know that might not happen again, because even if you are that big, sometimes it just doesn't work out that you perform that venue.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't know, but I mean, I wasn't like. I never was like how you think, because you've done so many big shows at that point. I was never like, all right, bitches, let's go. Suck this dick. Yeah. I just did that. You know what I mean? Like, I just did Carnegie Hall, fucking you suck my ass and you suck my dick.
Dude, that's what we're looking for. I mean? So wait.
I mean, I have a lot of those stories. I just don't know what I could share on here.
What do you mean? Well, there's absolutely no filter on our end.
Yeah,
it's just what do you want to let out into the world.
We always talk
That's
about
all we care about.
Our pussy capitals outside of Los Angeles. Danny's, yours in San Francisco.
Is that a bathroom?